Hi everyone, welcome to class. We're going to meet laying on our backs. Bring yourself down onto your back. Take your time in getting there. There's no hurry to come down. Once you've found yourself down on the floor, maybe make any little wiggles or adjustments you need to make in order to feel comfortable, at ease, like the back body is relatively relaxed. I personally like to take my feet a little bit wider than hip width distance and just let my knees fall in towards one another. So letting them sort of cave into the midline, allowing the lower back, the back of the hips to be nice and soft. And we're just going to take a couple of breaths here. So once you've found yourself down on the mat, a nice slow inhale in through the nose. And an easy exhale, just letting it go out of the body any way that feels right. 2 more, exactly like that. Nice and slow at your natural pace. Last breath here, nice and slow. Feeling the body solid in contact with the floor. Feeling the sensation of potential in the body, but stillness in this moment. And when you feel ready in your own time, just take a couple of deep breaths as you start to make some movement in the body, maybe stretching out hands and circling wrists, maybe stretching out toes and circling ankles. Maybe you want to, I quite like this kind of rocking of the pelvis from side to side. You might want to stretch the arms up overhead and have a big kind of, oh, just got out of bed type stretch. Make any movements in the body that feel good for you. And then, when you've got to grips with that, we'll bring ourselves back. Soles of the feet are on the floor. Knees are pointed straight up towards the ceiling. Arms are gently resting down by your sides. The arms are going to act like brakes. And you want to be able to just gently brush the back of your heel. So it's a light touch on the back of your heel, not so close you can hold on to your own feet, but just like very slightly pet the back of the heel. And from here, we're going to start to roll through the spine. So we've done this potentially in class before. You're going to think your inhale pulls the belly button down to the floor. Your exhale lifts the tailbone and rolls the spine away from the mat. And you can take your time in getting there. There's no hurry. You're lifting the hips up away from the floor as high as makes sense for you. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll the back body all the way down to the floor. Take your time, laying the spine back down into the mat. We're going for 2 more like that. Your inhale pulls the belly button down, finds the tilt of the tailbone. And then you follow on in that direction, exhaling to rise, little squeeze of the glutes, maybe rolling up through the spine. Just sort of getting to grips with this articulation at the back. We'll lower down, we'll take an inhale at the top, and we'll lower down on an exhale. Coming into our last one. Inhale, pull the belly button down, let the tailbone lift, squeeze the glutes, maybe you'll roll your way up and through. When you get to the top, that's your moment for an inhale. See if you can use the inhale to fill up the body, stretch out the front of the body longer. Exhale to lower it down, bringing yourself all the way back to the mat. When your body lands back on the mat, just set yourself there. Maybe you need to check the feet, the knees. We're going to change that. So that was a rolling bridge, thinking about lifting the hips and stretching out the front of the body. We're going to come into more of a glute-focused bridge, which is not going to have that same lift in the chest. So if you're not sure of the difference, I'll just show you. This is the difference. This is the glute bridge. It's a body in a straight line. This is our rolling bridge coming up into the chest. So we're going to keep both feet on the floor to begin with. Arms are down by the sides. Take a big inhale breath here. And as you exhale, you're going to squeeze, hips lift up. And then you'll take your time to lower down. You're going to go for almost 1 count to lift up, 2 to lower down. So inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We're going for 10. This is my 3rd one. So if you're keeping time with me, then we're hitting 4. So it's a real power up squeeze of the glutes, and it's a controlled descent back to the mat. I'm going 4, 3. So really squeezing, particularly outside edges of the hips. 2. 1 last one, and that's it. Lower it down, leave the hips on the mat. Maybe a little wiggle if you need it. We're going to do exactly the same thing again. Once you've got to grips with it, you maybe can find you're picking up the pace yourself a little bit, but you're still looking for that controlled lower. Take an inhale breath at the bottom. Exhale, squeeze. Hips lift up. We're going straight back in, another 10. Lower it down with control. Try to keep the soles of the feet in contact with the floor the entire time. Nice and steady. I'm here at 5, 4. It's a real squeeze, power up. Push the hips up towards the ceiling, get the body in a nice straight line. 3, 2, 1. Bring it down to the mat. Maybe give the knees a little hug in if you need to, if you need a break here. If you feel strong here, we're going to add the option of leveling it up. If you want to level up, you'll come with me. If you're happy where you are, keep both feet on the floor. That is totally an acceptable place to be working for another 2 rounds. So if you're interested in leveling up, we're going to send the right leg out, line up the kneecaps. Your right leg is your right foot, is active. Either flex the foot, point the toes, or somewhere in between. I go for somewhere in between. You're going to keep the knees side by side. So what you're not doing is kicking. You're just lifting through the hips. So take a big inhale at the bottom. Exhale, squeeze. Hips lift up, knees stay level. Lower it down. Keep that going. We're going for 10. Squeeze at the top. Lower with control. That's 5. Halfway. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down with control. Bring the right foot back to the floor. We're switching it over. Other side. Did I say 2 rounds? I think I may have lied to you. We're going to do 1 more each side this time. So right foot's on the floor, left leg is extended, left knee is in line with the right knee, and they're going to stay like that the entire time. So as you lift up, you glance down the body, you've got a perfectly straight line from your chest to your left toes. Take an inhale breath at the bottom. Exhale and we'll go. Squeeze up. Nice and solid in that movement. You might notice here a difference between the sides. You might feel like you're steadier on one side than the other. I'm going for 4, 4, 3, 4, 2, 1. Bring it down. Left foot finds the floor. 1 more time like that on each side. So left foot grounded, right leg extends. Big inhale at the bottom. Exhale and we'll press. Left foot goes down into the ground as the hips rise up. You've got a perfectly straight line from your chest out to your right toes. You're finding your rhythm. 1 squeeze up, maybe 2 counts down. That's 5, 4, 3. A little bit of a shake at this point is not a bad thing. 2, 1. Bring it down. Right foot to find the floor. I'm already warm. I'd just like to give you guys an update of when I break a sweat, just so I don't feel so alone. Left leg is extending. Left knee in line with right knee. They're not sandwiched together. They're not pressing together. They're at hip width, but you're keeping them even. Left foot's active. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, press up. 2, 3. Really squeeze. Right glute lifts you up. Maybe a little bit of hamstring stuff going on here as well. We're going to go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down to the mat. Left foot finds the floor. Take an inhale breath here. Hug the knees into the chest if you need a little bit of a breather. Exhale, you're going to float the feet away from the floor. The knees are going to stack over the hips. It doesn't have to be a perfectly rigid Pilates tabletop. You can keep the legs soft. We're not worried about the feet. Hands are going to come onto the knees. Take an inhale breath here. Pull the belly button down to the floor. Exhale, push the hands against the knees against the hands with everything you've got, and feel all the muscles in the belly switch on. Push, 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 push. Full exhale breath. Inhale, release. Exhale, hands on knees, press. Inhale, release, but pull the belly button down to the floor. Exhale, hands on knees, you're going to press with everything you've got. This is just a little way of tapping in to those strong belly muscles. Pull the belly down as you exhale. Inhale, let it go. Remember, 2 more. Exhale, press. It's really hard to do these and talk. Inhale, belly button pulls down. Exhale, last one, press. Full exhale breath of the hands pushing against the knees pushing against the hands. Resist, 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 press. Let it go. Give the knees a little squeeze into the chest. And then take them back to stack over the hips. This time we are going to activate through the feet. We're going to keep the legs parallel to the floor. If this is too much, if this is a big ask on your lower back, toes can tap down and you can work with 1 leg at a time. Extend the arms, fingertips up towards the ceiling. Shoulders are going to stay soft on the mat. And all we're going to do is start to fire up our coordination as we begin to find a little bit of alternate movement. So we're going to extend the right leg as we reach out through the left arm. It's going to look like this. And then you'll draw it back in. Inhale, extend, left leg, right arm. Pull the belly button down. Bring it back in. So you're not moving beyond the place where the lower back is really prizing away from the floor. You want to keep the lower back neatly in contact with the mat. I'm going left leg, right arm, inhale. Exhale, draw it in, belly button pulling down. We're going for 10 on each side, which we're going to string together, so we're looking for 20 here. Keeping control, starting to fire up the coordination in the brain. I think we're halfway with this one. I am anyway. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Draw it back in. Strong pull in the belly. The leg only needs to lower as much as makes sense in your lower back. And if you're working with the toes on the floor, remember, you're extending one leg at a time. We're going to go here for 5, 4. Keep the belly pulling in. 3, 2. Last one, don't throw it away. Put it back in. Nice. Knees hugging in. From here, you've got choices. If you're quite happy with a rock and roll up to sit, that's how we're going to get there. If you want to roll over onto your side and push yourself up to sit, that is A-okay too. If you're rocking and rolling, it's hands under the backs of the knees, tuck the tailbone. This might feel amazing after where you've just been. A little bit of a massage through the lower back. And we'll meet seated. If you can, we'll meet seated with the toes off the floor. Nice. Very nice. So if you can, toes are lifted. Pull against the backs of the knees to lift through the chest. If you need to tap the toes down at any point, you're welcome to. We're going to see if we can level it up through both. So just see how you get on here. Stop at the level that makes most sense for you. You want to be perched up on those sit bones. Lift the toes a little higher. Shins coming up to parallel. If you've got that, inhale, reach out for the toes, release your hands. If you've got this, exhale, press out through the heels, straighten the legs. Woo, that was not happening, a little bit of a shake there. If you've got it, hold it and breathe. If you're doing better than me, fantastic. Take an inhale breath here, lift through the chest. Okay, we're going to come into something else. Exhale, you're going to open the arms out wide, stretch out through the legs and turn your boat into a canoe. The body hovers off the floor, a hollow body. Inhale, draw it back up, reach for the toes. Somehow now boat is the relief. Exhale, send it back. Inhale, pull it in. This movement was horrible a minute ago, now you love it. Exhale, we're lowering out to canoe. We'll inhale, draw it in. This is going to be your last one. Exhale, out. Inhale, pull it in. Hug the knees in. Maybe you're just tucking forehead into the knees just for a moment. And from here, we'll make our way onto all fours. So take your time in getting there. You can roll yourself over, stack hands underneath the shoulders. Find yourself on all fours. A little bit of kind of movement for the spine, maybe a little bit of relief for the belly. You can untuck the toes, let the feet be relaxed. In your inhale breath, you're going to drop the belly down, broaden the collarbones, lift the gaze. So starting to find our way into cat-cow, which might just feel very nice to take slowly after where we've just been, firing up the core. Inhale, belly dropping low, stretching out the front of the belly. Exhale, chin to chest. We'll go for one more in this linear format. And then when you're ready, some of you will know this from other classes of me, we're just going to start to move the body in any way that feels good. So you're just going to start to find a bit of a slink through the belly. You can keep with cat-cow if that feels better for you, but if you're liking the sensation of going off in any direction that feels good, you maybe roll the shoulders, maybe you're bending the elbows. And I'd love here for you to think about maybe just taking the hands on a little walk around the mat as well. And they don't have to stay facing forwards. You can come onto your knuckles. There's no instructions here, which I think can make it quite tricky. Go with what feels interesting and good in your body, and you know that if in doubt, you've got cat-cow to come back to. Okay, when you're ready, we'll draw ourselves back to neutral spine. Take your time to get there. Find yourself in neutral spine with the hands stacked underneath the shoulders. All 5 fingers are spreading wide. And we're just going to start to play with a little bit of power, a little bit of strength here in this shape. So you're going to tuck the toes underneath you.
Take an inhale breath, and I want the inhale breath to feel as though you were squaring up to have a fight with the mat. So that moment when boxers lift their fists and suddenly their shoulders are twice as wide. So big, broad shoulders on your inhale breath. Press the floor away. Exhale, push the floor, push the hands into the mat, hover the knees, an inch away from the floor. It's very hard to see that I'm doing this, but I promise you my knees are lifted. Pull the belly in, take an inhale breath. Exhale, push the floor away. Knees an inch off the mat. Last one. Inhale here. Exhale, release the knees to the floor. So we know how that feels. You might want to give the wrists a bit of a wiggle or a bit of a shake. We're just still warming them up here. We're going to see if we can use that to come into something else. So when you're ready, hands stuck underneath the shoulders. Belly drawing in. Take an inhale breath. Square up to the mat. Exhale, hover the knees just an inch away from the floor. Inhale, step the right leg back long. Exhale, left leg to join it. Nice. Inhale, left toes on the mat, left knee comes to hover. And you're moving back to your box plank if you can. Nice. Inhale here. Exhale, step out to plank. Inhale here. Exhale, step into your box plank. Hover the knees never touching the floor. We'll go one more time. Inhale here. Exhale, let it go, send it out. Suddenly plank is a relief. Inhale and plank. Exhale, it's your last one. Hover the knees, keep them lifted, lifted, lifted. Inhale, breath. Exhale, release the knees to the floor, send the hips back. Maybe a little stretch along in the body feels nice. Any little movements you feel like you need, release the hips. That is not us done with plank. I just feel like I have to warn you up the top. But I have got a little solution for some of you if you're struggling. Hands are on the floor. Draw yourself back forwards. Guess what? Send the right leg out, the left leg out, and we're stepping our way into that strong plank. We're going to hold it for 3 breaths. So if you know that sustaining plank is a challenge in your body, knees on the floor. Knees tap down on the floor, and you're in your half plank. We're going to hold here for 2 more breaths. Think about pushing the floor away. Think about squeezing through the line of muscles in the back of the body that we fired up in that glute bridge last breath. Big inhale here. Exhale, send the hips up towards the ceiling. And if downward facing dog does not suit you for whatever reason, go straight to your forward fold. You know where we're going, you've probably been there before. If you're happy in downward facing dog, enjoying the stretch, take an inhale breath. Exhale, maybe have a sigh through the mouth. Inhale, look forwards between your hands and watch as the hands walk in towards the feet. Notice the moment where the body weight transfers into the soles of the feet. It's always a nice moment. A little bit of relief. Soften the knees, let the body hang out over the legs. Have a wiggle here if you need one. From here, we've caught up with everybody who's already gone to forward fold. And from here, we'll all bring ourselves up to stand. Soften through the knees. Pull the belly away from the thighs. Take an inhale breath. Rise up, sweeping the arms up overhead. Exhale, let the hands come down however you like. Maybe it's a big, letting them sigh down to the sides. Maybe you want to give them a bit of a shake. So we're going to come into, I'm not sure if you worked it out yet, but we're thinking about the core today. We're thinking about not only the muscles in the front, the kind of vanity muscles, but we're thinking about the strong muscles in the side of the body that hold us up. So we're going to come into a movement, which I find incredibly difficult to demonstrate. So you're just going to have to be nice to me. You might do better than me, and that's always a lovely feeling anyway, isn't it? So what we're going to do is just tap our right toes back behind us. And I've got my right toes very lightly on the floor. If you are struggling with your balance here or with firing up those muscles in the centre of the body, you're going to put more of your right foot down on the floor. You're going to keep your left leg strong. So however you need to work here, so either you're very light on the right toes or you're landing down more solidly and straightening up the right leg. What we're going to do is once you've found that stance of right toes just back behind you, and you'll notice I'm not on a tightrope, I'm out on train tracks, is we're going to find alternate circles through the arms. And anybody who knows me knows that my coordination is a mad challenge. So we're going to start with the right arm, lifting up and overhead, circling back behind us. It's followed almost immediately by the left arm. And we're going to windmill the arms, right arm, left arm, right arm, left arm. And you might start pretty slow with this. You're looking for that reach back behind you as if you were swimming breaststroke. You can let the elbows be quite relaxed. They don't have to be rigid. But what I'd love for you to think about is keeping the body balanced on that left leg, nice and solid, and also try not to let the body swing about too much on the top. So you'll notice keeping the body still, keeping the body stable is really going to start to work. It's going to start to lift the heart rate. It's also going to start to fire up these muscles in the sides of the belly. You're going to keep it going here. Maybe speed it up a bit if you can. Doesn't really matter how silly you look, because chances are nobody's watching. If you wobble and fall over and need to put the right toes down, that is fine. If you can lift them a little bit further away from the floor, go for it. Strong on that left leg. We'll go for 3, 2, 1. Slow it to a stop. Change direction. So now you're swimming front crawl. And you're still keeping the belly steady. You might notice it's much trickier to get one arm to circle than it is to get the other arm. Sometimes I catch sight of what my left arm is doing on the screen and I think, yeah, that's not doing what I expect it to be doing. You're light on those right toes. You've got a strong left leg. You're powering forwards. We'll keep this going. We're going to go for 3, 2, 1. We'll bring it to a stop. Let the arms hang. Just give yourself a break. If you need to put the right foot down, please do. And then when you're ready, send the right toes lightly back behind you. Exactly the same leg. Same leg. Doing the same thing again. Start with the back stroke. When you're ready, right arm goes up. It's followed almost immediately by the left arm. And remember, belly is tight. You're not swinging around side to side. You're working those powerful transverse muscles across the abdomen. Just realize I turn to the wrong side. You'll see the clunky shape that my left arm manages here. If you're working with any kind of shoulder restriction, you go for a slightly smaller circle and you keep the elbow nice and soft, so you're not rigid in the arm. We'll go here for 3, feeling the heart rate pick up, 2, 1, slow it to a stop, take it back the other way. So you're swimming front crawl. You've got the belly in tight, the left leg strong. A little burn through the left leg at this point would be lovely. And if that's not happening, maybe you come a little lighter on your right toes. Keep it swimming forwards, keep the belly in tight, keep the body from swinging around side to side. It's a lovely shoulder warm up and also a really strong movement for the belly. We'll go for 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands down by the sides, bring the right foot to the floor. Lovely. From here, when you're ready, right knee lifts. Right knee is coming up to the chest. You're going to see if you can draw it up without grabbing it. If you need to grab it, please do. Grab it and pull it in. Then from there, find yourself steady. Woo! Big wobble. Take an inhale breath, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center, right toes tap back. They're super light, bend the left knee. Inhale, guess what? Right knee forwards, arms sweep overhead. We're going for 5. That was 1. Exhale, tap back. Inhale, rise up. That's 3. Exhale, send it back. Try not to land too heavy on that right foot. Inhale, rise up. 2. Exhale, 1. Draw it back to the chest. This time, as you step back, you're going to land the right foot solidly, as if you were moving into your high lunge. So those right toes can really make contact with the floor. We'll take an inhale, sweep the arms overhead. We're going to exhale, sweep the fingertips down to the mat. Guess what? Hands to the floor. If you've got it, you're stepping from here to plank. If that feels like a real challenge, take the left foot a little bit wider than the hands, goes off the mat maybe, and from there it might be easier to step back to plank. If plank is a real challenge in your body, if you're in plank, just drop your knees for a second. I'm just going to demo something. If plank is a real challenge for your body, you'll find yourself a firm surface and you'll take the plank lifted for where we're going now, and then for the movement that's coming in at the end here. So you might lean against a desk, a chair, or, interestingly, I'm hoping you can see this, you've also got the option of taking your plank against the wall. So you're thinking about pulling the body in tight. In fact, if I kneel, you can see that better. So hands on the wall, you're letting the body find that straight line from crown of the head all the way down to the knees. So you've got options there if plank is a real challenge in your wrists or in your shoulders. We'll find ourselves in plank. If you drop the knees, you're popping them back up. We'll meet here. Steady yourself in plank. Take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, you're going to shoot forwards off the toes, let the shoulders move over the wrists. Inhale, pull back. And we'll keep that going. We're going for 8, 3, 4. Try not to let the hips lift. 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold it here. Draw the right knee to the right elbow as best you can. It doesn't have to come up high. Send it back. Left knee to left elbow. That's 2, 3. Right knee. Left knee. 4. Right knee. 5. Left knee. 6. Here we go. One more each side. Right knee. Left knee. Press back. Hips high. If you can avoid that rest, you're skipping it and going straight to your downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, take a couple of breaths. Nice. From here, we're going to find our way to placing the right knee on the floor. And you might choose to drop the knees to do that, or you're inhaling, right leg high. Exhale, pull the right knee forward to the chest as you roll back in towards plank. And then the right knee's coming down. Right hand in line with right knee. You're going to spin the whole body. The right toes are turning out to the side. The right hand is on the floor and the left foot is coming down to the mat. So I'm going to do that again, slower. It's this movement. The left hand lifts, the left heel plants down. From there, we're moving into our side plank, but it's supported. You've got the right knee, the wall in the way. You've got the right knee at that midpoint holding you up. Inhale, left arm high. Lovely. So, choices. You can stay here. If you're feeling strong, you might extend the left arm up and overhead. If you're feeling super strong, you might allow those left toes to rise away from the mat, the whole body in one straight line. Take an inhale breath here. If you've got it, you're welcome to join me. We're going in for 5, seeing if we can touch the left elbow to the left knee. Inhale. Exhale, draw it in. Try not to let the hips reach too far back behind you. Beautiful. We're going for 3, 2. Big power at the hip flexor and in the side of the waist. We're going last one. Extend. Roll it back in. Left hand to the floor, left toes to the floor. Let the right toes spin around. And it might not be beautiful, but you're going to put the left knee down on the floor and step the right foot forwards to find a low lunge. Find your low lunge. Very nice. From here, tuck the left toes underneath, pop the left knee off the floor. Just have a little moment of moving through the feet. Hands can support you, or you can lift them. Maybe moving backwards and forwards, maybe bumping side to side, whatever works for you. And then from here, we're going to step our way onto the right leg. The left toes will come in just up behind the right foot. And we're back where we started on the other leg with the arms swinging. So, if you need to skip something to get here, that's fine. Find yourself here. Steady the right leg, nice and solid. And when you're ready, it's the left arm lifting up. Inhale. Closely followed by the right arm and you're straight into that backstroke. Those left toes are light on the mat. And the right leg might feel a little wobblier now. The belly might feel a little bit more fatigued. You're going to keep it going as best you can. Smaller circles for those of us with any stuff going on at the shoulder or in the upper back. Maybe you're able to pick up the pace a little here. And then we'll eventually 3, 2, 1, slow to a stop. Take it back the other way, you're moving into the front crawl. You're going to keep the belly in tight, you're not letting the arms draw the body around to the side. So you're keeping the body as best you can, nice and still. That right leg is strong, you're light on your left toes. We'll keep it going for 3, 4, 2, 1. Let the arms draw to the sides. Allow the left foot to find the floor if you need a break on that left foot. And we're going back straight away, back in to the same movement. The left toes are just behind you. Whoop, find your balance. It's the left arm lifting. Inhale. Closely followed by the right arm into the backstroke. Keep the shoulders squared up to the front of the room. Maybe you're able to pick up the pace in this second round. Maybe you're able to come a little lighter on those left toes. We'll go for 3, 2, just as the shoulders start to ache. 1, slow it to a stop, and then bring it back the other way. Forward crawl, front crawl, moving forwards. Elbows can be soft. We'll go for 3, 2, 1. Lift the left knee up to the chest. Find yourself steady on the right foot, so no left up for this right leg. Inhale, the arms up overhead. Exhale, punch it back. Left toes are going to tap. Hands to heart center. That is 1. Inhale, draw it forwards. Exhale. 2. Ooh, inhale. Exhale, we'll go back. Tap the toes. They're only landing lightly and you're coming straight back off them for 3. 4. Last one. 5, tap it back. Light toes. Bring it back in. This time, send it back and land on the left foot. So it can land a little more solidly. You've got a moment here in your high lunge. We'll inhale the arms overhead. We'll exhale the fingertips to the floor. And then from here, we're stepping to find our version of plank, however you get there, and whatever adjustments you need to make. We'll meet in plank, and we're going in for that rock. So really set yourself up nice and strong, body in a straight line. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale, we'll power it forwards off the toes. That is 1. We're going for 8. 3. 4. Feeling the muscle of the belly kick into gear. 6. 7. 8. Hold it here. We'll go left knee. Left knee to the left elbow is 1. Right knee to the right elbow is 2. Keep it going. We're going for 8. 3. 4. Left. Right. 7. 8. Send it high. Hips up. Nice. Once you've got yourself in your downward facing dog, we're drawing that left knee in. Take an inhale. Left leg extends up and overhead. Exhale, left knee coming into the chest, pulling you forwards to plank, and then knee to the ground. If your playlist has gone on to a relaxing song, you might want to just pop it back one. You're going to turn the left toes out to the side, roll onto the right heel, left hand plants down, you'll inhale the right arm high. So you're bringing yourself into that version of side plank over on your left. So let me just spin around so you can see me. A couple of things to watch out for here. As the right heel comes to the ground, see if you can press down the little toe side of the right foot, so you can get the left hip pressing through underneath you. Right arm is, left shoulder is stacked directly over left hand. If you've got it, you're feeling strong, you might go for the extension of the arm, long in the side of the body. If this feels okay, you could try lifting the leg. You might play with this. This might be where you want to stay for a few breaths. If you're moving on, inhale here. Exhale, knee to elbow, punch it in. Inhale, extend. Try not to let the hips move too far behind you. 3, we're going for 5, you've got 2 more. Last one, draw it in. Extend. Right hand to the mat, right hand to the right toes to the mat. Roll it back through. Again, it's not going to be beautiful, but the right knee is going to find the floor so you can step the left toes out in front. You've got this moment where you can lift the right knee away from the mat so you can move through the feet. That might feel great. It might be somewhere that you're desperate to go. And then when you are ready, when you feel powerful, you're bringing yourself back up to stand, 2 feet on the floor. We'll rise up to standing. You might take the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands might be coming down. Take a breath here, take a steady breath here. So you've done this before, you know where we're going. We're going to make our way now into a little series of high intensity movements. We're going to spend the next 6 minutes working our way through 3 exercises twice. So I'm just going to pause that for a moment. Okay, so the exercises that we're going to move through, you are welcome to use that plank modification if you need it. I'm going to show you 3 movements. We're going to do the 3 movements twice, which will bring us up to 6 minutes of high intensity exercise. We're going to do 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. I'll count the time, don't you worry about that. First movement that you're coming into is a movement from plank. So if you're struggling in plank is becoming fatigued, you can do this against that hard surface, back of the chair, work surface, table, or you can do it against the wall. I'll show you that in a sec. You've got options. You can do it on your knees, you can do it with the legs extended, and all we're going to do is find a little halfway push up. So all it's going to be is a bend of the elbows back to the ribs and away. Elbows to ribs and away. You're not going all the way down. It doesn't have to be a big movement. If you're on your knees, it's the same. Pressing away. So kind of drilling that action that we make in practice when we pull through chaturanga to cobra. Your second movement is we flip over onto our back. Again, doesn't have to be beautiful how you're going to get there. You'll find yourself in bridge. From bridge, you're going to lift the hips slightly, little squeeze the hips, they come up and away from the floor. I'll do it on my left hand so you can see what's happening. All I'm going to do is bring left hand up to tap right knee. If that feels good, you might try not putting the right toes on the floor, extending the right leg, and bringing hand to tap toes. So that's your second movement. Your third and final movement is nice and simple. It is a plank hold. So you can hold with the hands pressing the floor away. You can hold on the knees. You can hold on the forearms if that works better for you and your shoulders. You can hold against the wall. You can hold against the table, the back of a chair. Okay, sound good? Now I've done all those. Let's actually bring ourselves through them. You know what? You'll probably do a better job than me at this point. So find yourself. We'll start hands and knees. We'll start our way moving through that little half press up. Get yourself set here. And when you're ready, let's go. So you've got 40 seconds of this. So you might benefit from just taking it slow to begin with. It doesn't have to be mad reps to begin with. And you might get going and think, actually, this is not feeling right. Pop your knees down and suss it out. Take your time. Allow your body to get to grips with the movement. If it's new for you, it's going to take a bit of time for your body to work out what it's supposed to do here. Body tips forwards a little bit as the elbows hug into the ribcage. Push away, you've got 10. Oh, I'm sorry, you've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees to the mat. We're flipping it over. You've got 20 seconds of rest, but that means you've also got 20 seconds to make the transition. So we'll do left hand and right foot this time. Find yourself in your bridge. Let's go for it. Hips lift. And from here, it's left hand reaching up to tap right knee. Keep the hips level, shining up towards the ceiling. If that feels okay, you're not going to let the right foot touch the floor. You'll extend the right leg and go right fingertips to toes. Sorry, left fingertips to right toes. And I'm not using momentum to lift my leg. It's a big pull in of the belly. Keep this going, you're halfway through. Big press through the left foot, remember? We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2. Can you squeeze in one more? Feet to the floor, let the hips come down carefully. Take your time, you've got 20 seconds to get there. You're going to roll it over. Doesn't have to be beautiful. We'll make our way into that plank hold. So you take whatever version makes sense for you. Maybe it's a straight arm plank. Maybe you're on your knees. Maybe you're on your forearms. Wherever you are, let's get into it. Go for it. Shoulders are stacked over the elbows or the wrists. If you're against the wall or against a flat surface, you're making sure the body is in a straight line. You're pulling the belly in tight. You're going to squeeze the glutes, press the mat away. Make sure the breath is happening. If you're not breathing, this is going to be much, much more difficult. Slow inhales, slow, steady exhales. You've got 10, 9. You feel free to count it down. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees to the mat. You're halfway through. Press the hips back maybe. Take a breather. Maybe allow the wrists to come away from the floor, because remember, we're moving from here into, where are we going now? Yeah, we're going back to that half push-up. So if you need to make adjustments, you're welcome to. You've got 3 seconds to get there. Just psyching myself up for it. All right, let's go for it. Set yourself up and let's get into it. Letting the body dip slightly forwards as the elbows hug in, but you're keeping the hips level. So what tends to happen as you get tired is the hips come up as the body goes down. You're going to keep the body in a straight line, pushing through. You're halfway. You're over halfway. Release to the knees if you need a break. If you need to make sure that you're actually doing the movement rather than flapping about. You've got 3, 2, 1. Let that go. Roll the body over. Take your time. You've got 20 seconds, 15 seconds to get there. This time we're going right arm, left foot. So find yourself on your back. Take a breath. Lift through the hips. Get the hips up and away from the floor. Your left arm is going to act like your brake. Your right arm is extending up. Maybe beginning with, you tap, right hand, left knee. Really extending out through the right arm overhead. And then pulling it in. Not using momentum, but it's hip flexor stuff. If that feels good, take the tapping of the foot away from the floor, and you'll bring it up, tapping toes with the hand. And it's not momentum, and my hips don't lower as I bring, you can tell my hips don't lower because I can't get the action. You're squeezing through the glutes, and you're using that big flex of the hip to pull the leg in. Oh, we'll go for 2. 1, let it go, hips to the mat. You're coming into your last plank hold. So roll it over, take your time to get there. Take your time, by which I mean you've got 8 seconds. And we'll meet there in your version of plank, setting up, and we'll go in 3, 2, 1, send it back. Pull the belly in, get the body in a perfectly straight line. Imagine I've balanced a tray of your favourite drink on the back of your hips. Or maybe, at this point, just a nice cup of tea. Just a nice cup of tea and a little Evansy's biscuit, because that's how it feels at this point. You're halfway. Hold it here, steady breath. Remember, you can drop the knees if you need to, but keep that belly pulling in tight, especially the sides of the waist that we've been working so hard. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the knees, press back. Press yourself back. If you're comfortable in child's pose, that's where we're headed. If you need something else, you're welcome to take it. Steady the breath. I'm very aware I've overrun slightly. If you do need to jet, you're welcome to go here and have a little bit of a stretch. If you're happy to stay and have a stretch, we'll just be 2 more minutes. So from here, left hand is going to push the floor away. You're going to lift up slightly on your left side, so you can reach your right arm, back of the hand on the floor, under and through the left arm. You're only moving into that if it makes sense in your shoulder. You might choose from here to be able to release the head down to the floor, finding that lovely stretch to the back of the shoulder. If that is not lovely for you, if it's just not a good fit for you, you'll pause here in child's pose, and you'll catch us up in just a moment. We'll switch the left arm for the right arm, extending out through the right hand and reaching the left arm under and through, finding that stretch through the left shoulder, maybe the side of the head is coming down to the floor. Slow the breath down. From here, when you're ready, no hurry to get there, take your time. You'll extend out through the left hand and draw yourself through to all fours. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but what we're going to do here is step the right foot up and forwards and find ourselves in a low lunge. Hands can come onto that front knee. They're not kind of dumping body weight down, but what you're using is hands against the knee to push the body away from the knee, keep you upright as the hips drop forwards and down. So a bit of a stretch in the front of this left hip. That's what we're after. Nice and steady breath. From here, when it feels like the right moment for you, all you're going to do is bring it back and reach the hips towards the back of the room as the toes peel away from the mat. And you're not necessarily having to come right down and sit on that left foot. You might keep the hips lifted. I know that definitely works a bit better for me. You might need to send that right foot a little longer away in front of you to get that sensation. You're thinking chest drawing over the knee. Breath steady. When you're ready, roll the right foot down onto the ground, stepping back into the skin of the sole of the foot. Inhale, the arms are coming up and overhead. And as you exhale, you're going to drop the right hand down the back body. You're going to reach the left arm over and catch hold of the right elbow if that is accessible. If it's not accessible, you're working on the hand dropping and the elbow lifting. If you don't need the left hand, don't use it. If you're happy to bring the left hand into action, it's drawing across the back of the body. Nice steady breath. When you are ready, we're just going to switch this over for the other side. So we'll do both sides in both lunges. Left hand is dropping down the back, right hand is coming up and over to get it. And on this side, you might want to think about nudging the left hip out to the side slightly as you maybe begin to lean over. So getting into side waist. Take an inhale breath. Exhale to gently release your way out. Take your time in coming out. Maybe it's a roll of the shoulders. And we'll just switch over for the other side. So again, nothing technical. All you're going to do is step right leg back, left knee forwards. Hand against the knee. You're using that to lift the body as you drop the hips forwards and down. Nice, steady breath. When you are ready, you'll send the hips back. Let the left toes peel up and away from the floor. Long in the back of the left leg. And again, if you're anything like me, you might need to send that left foot forwards a little bit so that you're really finding it with a level lower back, chest draping over the front knee. From here, we'll step back into the skin of the left foot, finding your way back into that low lunge. And then from here, inhale, the arms come up and overhead. It's the left hand dropping down the back first. The right hand maybe grabs the left elbow, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you just work on seeing how it feels to bring the hand down the back of the body, lifting through the left elbow. And the last breath, same on the other side. Dropping the right hand down the back body, catching hold. Left hand on the right elbow, maybe pushing out through the right hip slightly as you bring yourself out into what might feel like that kind of lovely side body opener for the strong muscles that we've been working in the side of the waist. Inhale here. Exhale to slowly release your way out of it. Maybe give the shoulders a roll if that feels good. Let's come to find just a comfortable seat. So you might just sit onto your knees. That might be good enough for you. You might want to swing the legs out and around in front of you. We're just going to take 3 steady breaths here. Super slow inhale. Super slow exhale. You're welcome to close the eyes if that suits you, or bring your gaze down to the floor. Just know that the breath is slowing, the body is calming. Slow exhale. Last breath all together here. Exhale, maybe let the chin hang to the chest, let the body go, let everything feel soft and relaxed. If you want to feel this fierce little practice, you're welcome to. Thank you so much for being here, for joining in with me, and for your good humour and probably doing a better job of that than I did. And I'll see you really soon. Thanks, guys.